This is a civilization restoration file from the year 3026. While restoring a batch of surviving social media data, we noticed an anomaly. Animals appeared in the footage at an extraordinarily high frequency, far higher than we expected. Human Civilization Archives, Episode 5. File number A21-005. Subject: an interspecies symbiotic relationship humans called pets. At first we assumed these were wildlife documentaries, but the footage didn't match. The locations were indoors. Backgrounds showed sofas, beds, kitchens. The animals wore clothes. Some had hats. These animals lived in the same spaces as humans, slept in the same beds, shared the same roof. Humans voluntarily gave them a share of their own survival resources. Our initial hypothesis was that these animals provided food or performed labor, but the data completely contradicted that assumption. They produced no material value. They didn't farm, didn't guard, didn't transport. Most of the time, they simply lay around or wandered near their humans. Yet the resources humans invested in them were staggering. By the 2020s alone, the global pet industry exceeded $300 billion annually, higher than the GDP of many nations. We found medical facilities built specifically for these animals. The archives contained complete records: CT scans, MRI imaging, surgical procedures, chemotherapy protocols. The cost of dialysis for a single cat sometimes exceeded a human's monthly income in the same city. Joint surgery for a dog cost more than the equivalent human procedure, not because the technology differed, but because insurance systems didn't cover animals. What puzzled us even more was the social media data. These animals had their own public accounts, operated by their humans. Some animals had millions of followers, far exceeding their owners' accounts. Humans filmed videos for the animals, wrote captions, designed personas. The animals became a medium. Through them, humans connected with other humans. One category of footage held our attention for a long time. Humans dressed animals in clothing, not for warmth, for decoration. During holidays, the animals were dressed more formally than the humans. Christmas outfits for Christmas, party hats for birthdays. This behavior had no precedent in biology. One species voluntarily projecting its own cultural symbols onto another. Then we found funeral records. After the animals died, humans held ceremonies, tombstones, eulogies, urns. Some humans grieved for months. Pet funerals became a full industry in the 21st century. Custom caskets, memorial jewelry, even cloning services, attempting to bring dead animals back through genetic replication. We began to shift our research direction. This wasn't an economic question, nor a matter of cultural ritual. There was something deeper. The key clue appeared in behavioral data. Humans adjusted their own schedules around their pets' routines, leaving work early to feed them, canceling trips because no one could watch them. When moving homes, the first consideration wasn't the school district, it was whether the balcony got sunlight. This was a classic reversal of domestication. Thousands of years ago, humans domesticated wolves, reshaping them to fit human life. By the 21st century, humans had begun reshaping their own lives to fit these animals. The domesticated had become the domesticators. But we don't consider this a failure. When we pieced all the data together, a deeper pattern emerged. The 21st century was the most connected era in human history. Social networks spanned the globe. Yet simultaneously, reported loneliness reached historic peaks. Humans could talk to anyone at any time. But more and more of them said they had no one to talk to. What their own kind couldn't provide, they found in another species. No language needed. No reciprocation. No equivalence. Just being nearby was enough. Just being alive was enough. We found a detail in the geolocation data. Late at night, large numbers of human and pet GPS signals overlapped in the same location. Not daytime activity, nighttime stillness. A person and an animal quietly being together. This is a moment we've marked in the history of civilizations. The 21st century. A species experiencing its deepest loneliness in its most connected era. So it turned to the oldest remedy, being with another living thing. Not talking, not doing anything, just breathing together. Looking back 1,000 years later, what moves us most isn't how much they spend on animals. It's the quiet truth hidden behind that investment. They weren't keeping a pet. They were keeping someone who would never leave. If you lived in that era, one might be lying beside you right now. It doesn't know what you're thinking, and it doesn't need to. It's just there. And you just need something that's there. This may be the most tender thing humanity ever did.